بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله ثم الصلاة والسلام على نبيه المصطفى وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين لما أنتي كسر هذا برنامج كان أوسيت توس أهلك إيمانية GlobalNet Studios أو كويا المجال لندن برنامج كان يقوى لميتك أو حنكسر قادنا إن دتك أن يرتأ كأفلحي كبحي أحد دجاه GlobalNet أهل كان كسر بندقنا si ay dadka kale ee Soomaalida ah ee iyaga la mid ah ay ugu noqdaan tusaale mar walba waxaan ku soo qaadanaa barnaamij gooni ah oo diiradda lagu saarayo ama looga hadlayo waxyaalo gaar ah oo ku saabsan xagga IT-ga waxaana si wanaag ah in barnaamijka caawa aan ku soo qaadan doono cloud wax loo yaqaan waa maxay cloud sidee ayuu u shaqeeyaa sidee ayaa shaqo looga helaa cloud aan sidee ayaa loo qabtaa shirkadaha adduunka dhammaantood waxay jihada ay saareen oo ay u dhaqaajiyeen dhinaca cloud isticmaalka cloud ayaa ah mid aad iyo aad u badan suuqa shaqooyinka ee xagga cloudka ayaa wuxuu yahay mid hadda socda meeshii ugu saraysay oo aan rajaynayno in ay inta ka sii bataan oo suuqa inta uu ka sii wanaado waxaan u baahannahay dadka Soomaalida ah inay qayb weyn ka noqdaan systemka isaga ah oo aysan noqon kaliya dad macnaha daawada ama dusha kala socda kaliya 20 sano u dambeysay waxaan ku guuleysanay in aan soo saarno dad badan oo Soomaali ah oo leh xirfad oo leh aqoon oo la jaan qaaday jaaliyadaha kale ay ku dhex nool yihiin anagoo taa ka ambaqaadayna ayaan waxaan u baahannahay in maanta dunida dhaqaaqaday ee xagga iyo cloud iyo cyber security iyo AI iyo machine learning iyo waxa la midka ah in aan dadka Soomaalida ah u iftiimino oo aan marba wixii soo baxa ay cusub aan ka dabageyno marka waxaan rajaynayaa inaad barnaamijkan in badan aad ka faa'iidi doontaan insha Allah ta'ala waxaan idinka codsanayaa inaad soo qaadataan qalinkiina iyo buuggiina iyo weliba koobkiina shaaha oo aad dhuuxdaan hadallada muhiimka ah oo caawa halkan uu nooga soo jeedin doono mid ka mid ah xidigihii ka aflaxay ee ka baxay GlobalNet oo caawa diyaar u ah in dadka Soomaalida ah uu u soo noqdo una la wadaago safarkiisii iyo waxqabadkiisii iyo maanta halka uu joogo waxaan ku soo dhaweynayaa Khalid Jama oo maanta marti noogu ah barnaamijkan isaga ah Khalid barnaamijkan ku soo dhawow adiga oo mahadsan
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين جزاكم الله خير معلم آدم Masantahay thank you for inviting me آدم Masantahay I'm very honored to be here إن شاء الله waxaan ku bilaabayaa GlobalNet markaan bilaaway iyo waxa bartay iyo taariikhdayda ilaa hadda insha Allah
Khalid runtii caawa waxay noo tahay farxad aad iyo weyn inaad halkan joogtid oo aad joogto GlobalNet aad diyaar u tahay in dadka Soomaalida ah ee barnaamijkan daawanaya ee si toos ah ugu taxan inaad la wadaagto aqoontaada waxaan rajaynayaa dad badan oo Soomaali ah oo jecel inay IT bartaan oo ay cloud ku shaqaystaan inuu barnaamijkan u noqon doono mid isbedel weyn ku dhaliya oo marka ay dhahaan yes Khalid ayaa sameeyay waan uga sheekeeyay anagana waxaan diyaar u nahay in aan ku dayano oo wadadiisii aan macnaha raacno Khalid waxaan noo sheegtaa maxaa kugu dhaliyay in aad IT macnaha aad barato
run ahaan I started intaan IT bilaawin jaamacadda 3 mar isku dayay inaan galo I started sports science laba jeer bartay 2 years markaas I changed subject I changed to radiography marka waa ka fadhiistay labadoodeeta so I was trying to figure out what I want to do and so marka caadi ahaan online waa baraadinay any options like what I can do differently so waxa like IT waa fiirina already like computer science waxaas lahaa maybe try again to go university try computer science ilaha amrkiis my cousin he was one of your students Sheikh Saeed
oh ما شاء الله Sheikh Saeed
so
أهبنا برنامجكم عاود داونا
إن شاء الله إن شاء الله
وقال يسوي صوت معي إنه هالكن عاود كهذا ما شاء الله
ما شاء الله so Sagi Abad, they had a conversation. Then وتلمامة, you know, why try GlobalNet? ومعلن Somalia تشيرو أو دتك أرديد برايو IT from scratch from beginning. And then شقويني كهلن قار جامعة قلن قار شقف في عنه هلن. So I went there with an open mind. So I had 2017 September or October. I started with A+ Network Plus. labadooda waa isku waday maadaama I wasn't mushaqeynaynin markii so I had a lot of time on my hand صح حسوست I think network plus وحو أها Thursdays, A plus was Saturday morning.
So before you continue, you said معناها you tried 3 years at university.
صح.
So what happened 3 years معناها?
So مركا the first time I went university I was 18, so I just went with the flow. I didn't know exactly what I was
What
doing.
you want, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a direction. ملا أوصل like ما again واحد من قبته. So واسكت صعناها بس. So بس.
So غالبا badankooda waxaa laga yaabaa inay jaamacadda aadaan oo yidhaahdaan yes jaamacaddan tegayna iyagoo aan ogeyn waxaa laga soo baxay college. The culture of university is completely different. So qofku markuu meeshu tago waxaa ku dhacaya shock uu leeyahay oh what's going on. The expectation and what you're going to meet at the university is completely different. And so after that.
So it put me off, and then that's what it was one of the reasons that I dropped out. And then eventually led me to my journey with GlobalNet.
Okay, mashallah. And you came to the school and you started from
A plus, yes.
Okay.
So you know, I had Hami Badan Allah. I was very motivated. I was interested just to see. Even hatta the first time I came, I was just sitting, listening in how it was. So marki xoga, I was inspired. Marki I had a lot of motivation, and even hatta already IT ahan like the basics. I was already okay. وكفي أنا مادام قولي كمبيوتر إنه يالي. قافك صار وش قي وقاني already. وأبو was a technician, IT technician already. So Abu already
high tech family.
Exactly. So already Abu, you know, computer salo for everything he knew. So alhamdulillah, I started with A plus and a network plus level was school. I was doing them
at
same time. And I remember 2 months later, I added CCNA on top.
Oh, really?
So I was doing all 3 of them at the same time. I think CCNA started like towards the end of November, something like that. So for me, Maka Bilawi Isla marki, like I saw exercise Maka wala qabsada Isla marki, so it gave me confidence. So the stuff you were teaching Isla marki waa fahansana Isla marki qaacidadii wixii dhan oo dhigaysay Isla marki waa la qabsaday. It was easy to pick up very quickly. So even حتى maadaama I had a lot of motivation, even حتى عشان markaa dhigaysay Isla marki guriga la aaday, I went over it again. Exerciseaha or already homework na siisay waa ka shaqeeyay already plus extra. So that's what I was motivated.
I remember you finished, you used to finish early and you say, Abdullah, I did this one, I did and you were looking forward, mashallah, to finish as quick as you can and mashallah, get a job.
Exactly.
So after A plus and Netto plus, you added season A. But season A was like a big course and very advanced.
Very advanced.
So how do you find season A?
Even حتى CCNA as well, it was same again. I applied same principle. وحي 10 كدقتي واقاتي قريا لا هذه مر لبعض كو عليي. Then even حتى same with the practicals again and again وكو علينا إلا سيفي عنه وبرتي وإسلا مركي وواحد سنة. So وكو علينا أي قريا كمبيوتر لما كمبيوتر إنه يالو. So وكو علينا 10 دي and so even again حتى وحوها I was very motivated. So وحوها you know I had a lot of confidence. I had a lot of time. So وحاس لها you know كفائدة.
So when it comes to the A plus and Netto plus and CCNA, which one do you think is more difficult or more challenging?
أنا حديه لا CCNA because it's more advanced. It has a bit more. Even حتى 10 كقاعدة it's a lot more. There's a lot more to take in, a lot more information. ما حسوست sometimes 10 it was late evening class وها. فصلت حاجة واسكت علي وحي أو برتي but it was a lot to learn. But again وكو علي 10 كي. So but it was very tough. It was challenging. I like challenges وكو علي until I فهم. So it was, but it was my favorite course.
Okay, season A.
Because of that. Because it was very fun because like you play with the servers, you can work with them, with the routers, the switches. So it's very hands-on, and I like the hands-on. So with exercise, honestly, it was very fun. I liked it.
You know, Khalid had glaciera very young age, from 13, 15, 18, 19, 20 plus. And some of them are very good, mashallah. They know what they want. Yeah, and they focus and determine and try to get a job. Some of them are not like that. Some of them maybe they don't know how to learn and what's the best option, although we advise every time. But Okay, can you briefly give them what you did basically in
صح.
order to succeed to learn the courses
صح.
when هذين نقطة مثال the revision classes
صح.
هذين نقطة taking notes هذين نقطة practicing what was the best technique you did in order to master and finish
صح.
the courses and do
صح.
the exam.
أنا واحد هلا first it depends قفل با they have different capabilities. Everyone have different ways of learning things, different ways of processing information. So qofka waxay ku xiran tahay suu u barto. And for me, what helped me was casharada when I learned everything, I learned it exactly the same way Quraanka markaan baranay.
MashaAllah.
So waa ku celceliye bas. That was the only way it worked for me. Repetition. Yeah. So that's the only way. Quraanka waa saas marka la barto waa ku celcelinay casharka. You have to repeat it until it gets stuck in your head. So I did that. So qof walba way ku xiran tahay. They have different ways of learning. Some people they learn visually. Some people they learn by writing. أنا wuxuu ahaa I learned through just writing. Even casharka the exercises hadduu yahay computerka waa ku celcelinay until I understood it. And then I memorized it. So the most important thing is to understand the concept. قاعدة markaa fahansan tahay waa ku celcelinaya bas marka wixii anything that comes after waa fahmay. So I think that's how I learn.
Repetition is the key for learning the courses.
For me, yes, for me. So that's how it worked for me.
And secondly, you mentioned القرآن ما شاء الله صوت and that means قفك هدو القرآن كوبرتو. Nothing or دبيه. That's what هذا كان كله. Yeah. ما فهمتي. قفك هدو القرآن كسوبرتو ودينته ويفهم.
صح.
أم وسوحب دي أم إن بدون كسوريتو.
صح.
معناها خبرة أهانتي إذا. Nothing that can stop it.
Exactly.
So. عيالك اللي سكولك حلقيو حبرتان مو أكاديمي هالنقطان وحكفي عن حالات قالكود إنه تغفل لك سؤال اسمه هي foundation Islamic.
صح.
So once you have a culture and Islamic value, then after that you can learn other stuff easily.
صح. Exactly.
لكن ده كيف قالكود حلوة بالعكس مو إنه حوق ساريان إن عيالك كله دلالان the best school the best ما فهمتي academic achievements بالعكس لما كان في السيد they like in أن قف نوع أسفل هدول هلو جامعات وتجوا ملها أو تجوا they get lost. It's easy قف نوع قد كلا قد
Of course.
لكن once you have إسلامية culture value وطلال أوكله.
Absolutely.
دفاعية. All viruses وحينها حنا نقول لها دمانتو.
صح.
ونقول هي protection.
Absolutely.
ما شاء الله والدين تبصر الباري رنتي وحنا هي هذا ما سنتين because وحكاية the same foundation كي أساس كي Islamically.
Exactly.
And after that now ما شاء الله in IT of course expert.
إن شاء الله.
Yeah. Okay. So you did A+, you did Network Plus, CCNA. What other courses at the time?
After CCNA, I was also when I finished A+, Network Plus, I was only doing CCNA, and I also remember there was the Microsoft Server course as well. I signed up to that one as well. Then I was doing CCNA and Microsoft Server at the same time. And yeah, Microsoft Server is the one that I'll shaqeeyo into Ubadan, Madama is the most in use tools in a workplace. So I said to myself, if I want to get a job, it would give me more options it will make me a stronger candidate if I learn this. So I learned Microsoft Server and also learned the AWS Solutions Architect Associate course as well.
Okay. So هذا أصلا نقطة مركي كورسين كأسمينيسي أو قاعدتي بلاسكا نتورك سيزن إذا مايكروسوفت then كده بحاول قدرتي إن شغالين أبلودي محاك أقول لي إن شغالين أبلودي stage كمان كاسو قرت معناها what was the key معناها because that's كده أقول وحبي برتان
صح
and they sit and they believe معناها أو ولي stage كمان جوجان شغالين أنت أدينا early stage جوجا I don't know أنت أدينا يسي how long أدينا يسي about 6 months
صح 6 months yeah 7 months عمل
yeah so محو هذا main motivation معناها كقول لي إن شغالين أنت أبلودي وعبسيدي كويس أسكت بحسيت now is the right time to apply IT jobs.
I think again I had motivation from beginning when I started the course until when I finished all the courses. I still had the same motivation. قفك حتى as well. وإنه they have to have the intention. When you have the intention and you try to follow with the action, everything will become easy. وصدق حديث إنما الأعمال بالنيات. So it's you have to have the right intention, and when you have the right intention and you try to follow up with the action, and also at the same time, the person has to have a plan. You can't start a course or sign up to GlobalNet and then not have any aspirations. So I think it's important to have aspirations to know where you're going. Because قفكا, if they don't have همي هذه السنة أما هدف قفكا, they will stop we're changing and they will quit. So it's important for the person to have a motivation and to have a goal. And for me, when I started the course, it was I need to get my first IT job within 1 year. So I said within the 1 year, I set myself a target. So I said I need to finish the courses as quickly as I can. I set myself on an average. I think the course to finish was 3 months. I think roughly to finish one course. I tried to finish half of that, so 1.5 months. I tried to learn everything. That's the theory and the practical. So when I finished the courses, and my first thing was now I've done the courses. Now it's time for me to look for a job. And again, my target was April. It was April, March,
Or 2019.
2018.
2018. Because you started 2017.
Yeah,
So,
صح. So again, I said to myself, okay, I've got 6 months. Within the 6 months, I have to look for a job now.
So of course you had معناها plan like 3 months وكذا معناها you set a goal. Okay, I want after 6 months وكذا to finish معناها X number of courses, build a CV and start applying. So that type of vision, that type of معناها plan, it gives you معناها هذا motivation.
صح.
Yeah, because once you have a goal and هدف, always want to achieve some goal هذا.
صح.
But that كذا كل واحد هيستلي بعد هاي just they want to sit, do the course, finish, you tell them إلى هروح السعودان ولي معناه حكم كان زي هذا أشياء كتابية vision كي إنه قفك هدف وصاميست.
Exactly.
And always أفضل وحن كلها هدف هو مهم. لأن ماشي أسرته ما أسرته دار أخواني. طبعا قفك they got lost. هذا ملكي درجته استيشك قفته كسر أول كسر بحري كله ترينكين قاتا. What's the first question I would ask?
حاجة أسرتها صح.
هذا كله ما أقل من أسرته. Then you just walk away somehow.
Exactly.
صارت قفك وقفه معناه مسكحة كما غنتها.
صح.
So مش هو أساس وكذا. قفك وحا مهم إنه لا يهي هدف.
نعم.
إنه يقال ليش السعودة. هذا هدف كأعتقد حتى هدي عقبات على كل أنتي أما barrier أما difficult always وحا هذي سامحي a way to go through معناه هذا barrier.
صح.
Yeah. So إن الهدف الله يهي goal الله يهي هذه مهم تاعي وحنا كم تاعي وحنا هدتك أنكوش من إنتاج لجنايا معناه سكول كيكول سوينك. So that's what point 20 earlier مهمة. So كدي بحسب مثل CV your process. So give us some more information about that معناه itself.
So when I finished the Microsoft server and the CCNA, it was time for me to do my research and try to apply for jobs. Again, my goal was to get the first job, which was like I asked you for advice. The best job was try to look for first line, second line support jobs. So once I'd done my CV, I sent out every day. I remember I woke up like Fajr Makaka. I would send the CV straight away because I would say to myself, when they call the recruiters, when they wake up and they open their laptop, they're gonna see one of your CVs is the first one. So I went to online just to research how I can make myself a standout candidate, how I can be different from everybody else. So I would send my CV every morning. So by the time it gets to 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I get a call straight away. So I had to go through a lot of interviews. I don't remember, maybe roughly about more than 10 interviews from...
Over the phone or face-to-face?
Some of them over the phone, some of them were face-to-face. And then at the beginning, no one got back to me. But then there was a period from, like when I started looking for shaqqa around end of April. So May, I kept on sending application. I applied for every role that was out there, whether it's in London or a bit outside London, anything. Even I applied for like network engineer roles because I had the CCNA certification as well. So even if it was a bit too advanced, but still, I still applied for it. So I had no second thoughts. I applied because if you apply, if they say no, they say no, but at least you tried. So Islamarki, there was 1 week I had 4 or 5 interviews within 1 week. 4 of them said no, and then on the last one I was invited to the second stage interview, and then I got the job straight away, and then from there, end of July, I got my first. I got the
The offer.
and then I started September. So I hit my target ahead of like 1 month. So
That's good, mashallah. So, Khalid, basically, we need to stop here and take that information and break down into small sections because you mentioned a lot of things in a short time. So, number one, معناها CV as a say, a lot of people are looking for an IT job.
صح.
And they build their CV and they don't know what on the CV. So what best advice when it comes to CV building, CV technique, CV what is the best advice you can give them?
I think from the way I've done my CV, I just had a brief introduction about myself and my qualities and what my aspirations are at the top.
Okay.
And then afterwards, I highlighted the skills that I have.
The main technical skills.
Main technical skills. Okay. So whether it was Microsoft Server, CCNA, and then I would break down the content within CCNA, what I was good at, whether it's being good with servers, routers, switches. So I would mention, same with if I like TCP, stuff like that, IP, stuff like that. So DNS, stuff, these kind of stuff. So these are the things that I put on my CV. Again, it was just within the stuff that I learned that I put on there. And then again, I put my education, my qualifications.
All like GCSE.
My GCSE A levels. Exactly.
A plus and netto plus.
Exactly. So I
had. The CV is you have to sell yourself.
Absolutely.
So you have to put whatever you can, or I think
exactly. Exactly. Okay. So once I've done that, then at the bottom I just put for references, that is available if you need be. Okay. So I did that, and that's how I started.
There's one mistake I thought they build their CV, or maybe they get CV from somewhere and شكل البنيان أنا أروح لو something on the CV and what are you talking about? I don't know. أنا حاسس يقول لي CV go there. So what was the?
I think some people they tend to lie. I wouldn't say it's a good thing. It's not a good thing. I would say be as honest as you can. That if you instead of lying, sometimes you can maybe exaggerate. Well, I wouldn't say exaggerate, but in a way where it's like you make it stand out a little bit. You just polish around it a little bit. So I would say just don't lie. Make sure you've got the things that you've learned in there, because if you're missing something, it's okay because they can train you on it, etc. But if you have an interview and you get there and it's a role and they like you, but you've put some stuff on there, they might ask you and you lie and you don't know about it, and they can tell if you know or if you don't know. So it's best to be honest. Honesty is the best policy, I would say.
Okay, when it comes to شغل عديمته for some CV as شغل عديمته waxaan noo sheegtaa ilaa maybe 3, 4, 5 websites the best top ones as the machine
I use the JobServe. Okay. I think it's the one that you recommended me.
It's one of the best options.
It's the best.
I was using it since when?
It's definitely like
since when I don't remember. More than 15 years.
Oh, mashallah. No, it's definitely like for me that was the main one. You have LinkedIn. Okay. LinkedIn have a lot.
And now it's growing.
Exactly.
LinkedIn is huge.
Exactly, it's huge. So LinkedIn is
even some companies they advertise directly on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
They don't go to other
recruiters.
They go straight to the LinkedIn.
Exactly.
So to have a profile on LinkedIn that matches your CV,
exactly,
that's very important.
Absolutely. I was just about to mention, I think it's important to have that. So I think with those two for me were the best ones that I had. But at that time when I was looking for a job, I didn't have a LinkedIn profile, so I made it. I polished up a little bit, made it look nice, put a picture of myself, had a background, etc. So when they even apply, I even put on my CV my LinkedIn profile. So whenever they go to my profile, they can see how I look, my skills, and people might endorse my skills, stuff like that. So I'll say these two are the main ones. There's also a CV library.
So if you want to get a job into NHS, which we have a lot of students option here in NHS, alhamdulillah, big number here in London and outside of London. So they found a job through the NHS jobs.
Mashallah. I think I applied for it, probably. I must have applied for it, but it's a good place.
And another one is CW Jobs.
Yes, that's
Total Jobs.
Total Jobs. Yeah, so there's a lot of out there. Even
So
as
basically we have to قف إنه هذا so many websites معناها and list all the information somewhere.
exactly.
So you know what job you applied and from which website and the agency and the job title and all the information. So have you ever used معناها system نوع سوكلا to manage your job search process?
What I used to do was I had an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
I would know every job I applied for, the role, the company, and then from there I would track my progress.
Okay.
So that's how I managed to know everything down, even as well which recruitment agency, whichever website it was that I applied from. So I would keep track on all of that.
Okay. So when it comes to interview, there are two types: over the phone and face to face. So tell us about over the phone. What are the best techniques people can use?
For me, I think most importantly is be clear, concise in your voice. Be confident. Maybe the first thing you will be shy, you will be nervous. You might be a bit tough, but eventually, once you get used to the first one, exactly experience. So yeah, it became experience for me. So there was for one company I applied for. It was a network engineering role. It was over the phone. They asked me a couple of questions. What's a load balancer? What's a NAT? What's an access list? Things like that. So what I would do, I was, I already knew it, but sometimes I was a bit nervous. I was going around in circles. At the beginning.
Okay.
So that was the first question with the first question. Second question, I was very direct. So I was like, maybe I'm talking too much. So if they ask you a question, answer it, like keep it short.
So when they call you over the phone, what they're trying to achieve, what they're trying to gather from you, what sort of the personality or technical skills or all of that?
I think the best thing is as well for me, what I felt was they just want to hear your voice just to see how confident you sound. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to get every question right, but as long as you sound confident in your ability. Let's say, for instance, there were some questions they asked me. I did not know the answer, but I'd say it's something I'm currently learning. So it's just to show that at the same time you might not know it, but you're working towards it.
So you have to think on your feet.
Exactly, you have to think on your feet. So these are the things that for them to say, okay, you know what, he does not know it, but he's working towards it. It shows at least he have ambition. He's got the willingness to learn.
Okay, that's good, mashallah. Then after that, they like you, of course. They book you to second stage, but sometimes they say we'll contact you back, we'll call you back.
Exactly.
And they never do.
No.
That means
sometimes
bye-bye.
Yeah. Sometimes I would chase them up for feedback.
Okay.
But sometimes they don't get back to me. Sometimes they do. So
dadka qaarkood they get disappointed markii la soo wiciyo la dhaho waa kugu soo celinayna they take serious waxay ku leeyihin waa lagu soo celinayaan and they wait and nothing happens and after that they say they get disappointed. So what is your advice for them?
It's okay. I'd say the first one, if you don't get it, it's okay. Because if you get a no, it's gonna get closer to a yes. Okay. So that's how I looked at it. Every time you get a no, you're one step closer to a yes. So, and also at the same time, if it's not written, exactly. So I had that mentality, and then what I would say is don't be demoralized. Keep going. Because
keep moving,
keep going, exactly. Because the first interview you might do, they might say no, but if you do the next one, you get more confident, and then even the answers that you didn't get, you will go home, you will learn it, you'll go over it. So next interview, you're ready again.
And then becomes natural.
Exactly.
Okay. So when it comes to face-to-face interview, what are the best tips you can give the other students who are looking like people here, like Rahma, Abdurrahman, Liban, and a lot of people who have more than 120 on the session at the moment. So what's your best advice you can give to them?
What I would say is, the first interview, you might be scared, you might be nervous. It's okay. It happens to everybody. The most important thing is that you believe in yourself, you believe in your skills, you believe in that you know it very well. Because, if you know it very well, then when you go there, you will be very confident because you have an idea. I would say that's number one. Number two, I would say apply, keep applying until you get an interview. Even if they say no, keep going to the next interview. But when it comes to sitting in the actual interview, just be confident in yourself. answer the question directly. Be confident in your answer, and if you don't know the question, just say I don't know, because it is better you say I don't know than instead of trying to impress them by going around in circles. Sometimes it might be they might look at it in a negative way, because it's better if you say I don't know, but it's something I will look into, because that way it just shows that you might not know it, but you're going to take it on board.
learn.
Exactly, it shows the willingness to learn.
Okay, when it comes to an face-to-face interview, of course, معناها there are different types of questions.
صح.
Some of them are technical questions, some of them are HR questions, some of them are maybe IQ test questions.
صح.
So can you give us معناها different types of questions معناها when it comes to technical وكذا محاكمة هذا سؤالي most difficult questions you ever faced or you ever asked?
For me, the more difficult question was the HR competency-based questions.
Okay.
Because the technical, I had an idea of what I was going to get. So it was quite straightforward. How would you, an Active Directory, how would you unlock an account, a locked account? Or how would you add a user to a security group? Or how would you make a distribution list? How would you create a shared mailbox? Stuff like that. But when it came to the competency-based questions, because I did not have, I remember when I was applying for the first IT job, because I didn't have an experience, I didn't have the answers with regards to the competency-based questions to refer it to in a workplace environment. So I just had to think on my feet and use other examples instead. But with regards to the competency-based question, they might ask you, what's the most difficult thing you had to overcome? How did you do it? What did you do in order to get to accomplish it? And also they might ask you, what's the what do you have you been in a situation where you had to demonstrate leadership skills? And they might ask you, what kind of person are you?
Okay.
Stuff like that. So these are the kind of things they ask me.
So what's the best way to answer then a question like that?
I would say
an example, for example.
So for me, for example, what I would say, like when it comes to like leadership skills, how to demonstrate if I've been in a situation, I said, in my previous role, I'd said, I was appointed the temporary team leader while the team leader was on sick leave for a month. So I had the opportunity to get that exposure. I had to manage the team in terms of their workload, their lunches, even annual leave, stuff like that. So I was kind of given that responsibility. So it gave me the opportunity to talk about it in an interview. So, and also in terms of being in a complex situation, being on a phone to an end user and have another end user walking up to me, and I had to be in a situation where I had to multitask. So these are the kind of things I had to answer in an interview.
Oh, okay. So when it comes to some questions like HR questions like waxaa lagu weydiinayaa tusaale ahaan معناها give us a user, difficult user or la kulantay ama isku xanaaqdeen and how do you deal معناها something like that. weli ma kusoo martay su'aal noocaas oo kale?
Yes, I had many times.
How do you tackle معناها a question like that?
For me, I think if you have, it depends if you are an IT person that's already in the field, because how you have an experience, you have a history of coming, you've had that exposure. But if you don't have IT experience, you can just talk about a situation you have been in where it might be with regards to a job that's not IT related, or it might be in your university, it might be with a person, any encounter in life, you can talk and use that as an example. But if you're an IT person, for me, what I did was I had an end user who was an executive, he was a difficult person to deal with. They had a reputation of being difficult to deal with. So luckily, I was in a
reputation.
Exactly, they had a reputation. So everyone in my team avoided this end user, and then they came to me. So for me, my first thing is be calm, be patient. So again, I had to. Alhamdulillah, it was an easy task. It was just repairing their Office 365, and then tell them to restart the PC. Alhamdulillah, it was a quick solve. I closed my ticket, so it was okay. Alhamdulillah. But again, you have to be calm, collected, and be patient.
When it comes to like flus,
Yeah.
تدخل ودي okay, how much are you expecting? How much do you want to get? So a question like that, how would you answer?
Before even answering the question, you have to consider what you know, if it's and how much it's with regards to its value in money. So if for instance, if you're going for a first line, second line support role, you'd have to and you look at the role that they are advertising. the average salary might be from 24 to 32. So if the role says if it's 26 عملت صلاحا as an example, if you have to believe in your skills, and if they might say, for example, they might say the role is 25, between 25 to 27, be confident, say 27. So I think at the same time you can negotiate, but also at the same time you have to be realistic, because you can't be in a first and a second support role and say I need 40, I need 50. So you just have to
So
be.
you have to be within the limit.
Within the limit, yes.
Okay. So that means you must have a kind of idea how much they advertise. What
Exactly.
is the lower range? What is the higher range?
Exactly.
And you have to ask maybe something near the
high end, yeah.
Okay.
And then so I think if you shouldn't be shy, you should be confident, because if you ask, they might say yes, but if you get no, it's okay, because at least you asked. So I would say that.
Okay, when it comes to سؤالها قاركود ولا فيديو حكي the weakness oo kale waxaa leeyahay do you have a weaknesses oo kale macnaha tell us some of your weaknesses oo kale and with human haddaa maqasho weakness waxaa leedahay no I don't have any weakness. So how would you answer a question like that?
For me, from what I've learned from my experience, someone did tell me, if you're gonna mention weaknesses, mention technical weaknesses.
I see.
Because if you have technical weaknesses, you can always work on it. But if you mentioned interpersonal, like your personality weakness, it might be in a bad way. Because, for example, if they say, if I do something, I don't get it first time, I'm low in confidence, I stop doing it. Or because you shouldn't mention negative things about yourself as a person.
I see.
So it's better if you say negative, weaknesses with regards to technical.
You can improve on that.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I would say that.
Okay, that's good, mashallah. That's a very good answer. And حالها قد تكون حلوة ودينية كسوق المثال هذا أهم animal أو كذا. What sort of animal would you like to become? So actually, it's going to be visualized.
For me, I did get that once.
Okay.
I think I said lion.
Okay, why lion?
Why lion? So it's like I like it because I like a lion. I said it's my favorite animal. Yeah. I think so. That's I said because I like it and it's my favorite animal.
Okay. As long as you can justify it.
Exactly.
It's fine. Okay. And marka shaqada raadinaysid dad badan waxay ku leeyihiin hadda iskuulka dhiganaya shahaada ma u baahanahay imtixaan agal ma u baahanahay to get a job, how many qualifications do I need? So marka shaqada helaysay, how many qualifications do you have?
I did only one I'd done an exam for was CCNA. I had a certificate for. So that's the only qualification that I had. But I did write on my CV that I knew that I studied A+, Network Plus, and Microsoft Server. And I did mention on my CV that I put in brackets that I learned the content but did not do the exams for it. Because they're quite entry level, so it's not necessary for you to do the certificate. So as long as you know the skills and you know what you're doing and you know the content, I think it was enough for me to not do the exam. So as long as you highlight the skills you've got.
Have you ever came across we need qualification? Do you have that qualification? Otherwise you cannot get a job. Have you ever faced a situation like that?
To be honest, no. I don't think so.
So basically people can get a job without having any.
Absolutely.
But qualification will help you later on to proceed.
Absolutely.
To go up and up,
Exactly.
And to go to the next level.
Absolutely.
But for first line, second line, there's no requirement. There's no need for someone to have qualification.
Exactly.
Like A+ or Network Plus or Server.
Absolutely.
Okay. So tell us when you received the offer for your first IT job. How was you feeling and how long it had?
Alhamdulillah, I think it took me about from April until July. So that's about 3 months. So within that 3 months, it was a lot of traveling. I had to go into central London. I had to go sometimes outside London, like Mela Slough and stuff like that. So I had to travel all over London. So after getting my first offer, alhamdulillah, it was a relief. It was I was very happy, alhamdulillah, and I felt very confident, and at least now I got to the stage where I met my target. So it was good. It was good for me.
Okay, so شقدي كواد شيء محل نوع من الشيء معناها first line, second line محاسبة جدا محاسبة جدا. Give us more details your typical day in that job. And mesh occasion communication.
So to start off, like before, like my first role, it was like I was starting at DHL as a help desk agent. It was more of assisting end users, internal and external, within their own. They had their own software, they had their own solutions, they had their own tools. So again, it was like users that had any troubles with regards to their softwares, with their web tools, web applications. Sorry. So again, they would call. I would log a ticket. So this was the standard process. I get a call, I would log a ticket, and then from there I would assist the user. Once I've assisted the user, and I've managed to complete it, I would close the ticket, put in my resolution, and then close the ticket. If I was not able to answer, resolve their issue, I would escalate it to like a second line or third line, depending on the issue and the complexity. Um, so that was my standard day-to-day role. On an average, I'd have maybe 20 to 25 tickets I'd close. So that was my first job. I spent a year there, and then I moved on.
qaarkood waxay ka baqayaan shaqada koowaad inay difficult ay noqoto dhib ay noqoto waxay leeyihiin waaw hadda wax samayn weyda ama lagu dhahaa waay shaqada soo codsatay ama aad meesha ku ciboodaa so dadka noocaas oo kale ah hadday haystaan A plus and Netto plus and Save oo kale misleeda shaqada nooca way ka bixi karaan.
Of course, absolutely, because shaqo marka bilaabaysid, the first job, the first day, you're not gonna know everything. Waa marka shaqada qabsanaysid day 10, day 15, day 20, day 30. It is a gradual process. It's step by step.
So you're learning on the job.
Basically. You're learning on the job. So as you go along, you'll have better. You'll build your confidence. You will be more confident in your skills. You will learn and learn and learn. Then marka shaqada la qabsanaysid, it becomes very easy for you afterwards.
Okay. أنت shaqaynaysid maxay ahayd shaqada ugu yaabka badneed alla ilaahay tan waa adag tahay. ama aad dad kale ala kaashatay ama aad online gashay ama team kale u gudbisay maxay ahayd shaqada kugu dhibka badneyd first time aad shaqada heshay.
For me, I think it wasn't the job. Sometimes for me it was the people I was working with.
See.
So sometimes I had lazy people in my team that wouldn't do the job properly, so it affects the rest of us. You have more tickets to close. It means sometimes we overwork ourselves.
So you have to take the ownership of the tickets.
Exactly.
Doing the job.
Exactly. So for me, that was I didn't like that. So that was my biggest issue that I had.
So technically, nothing major, nothing challenging.
No, to be honest, because at the same time, it was they had their own tools and stuff like that. So it wasn't in relation to 100% on what I learned with the A plus and Network plus. But my next job, it was everything that I learned A plus, Network plus, and Server. It was everything. It was literally that.
Yeah, if you summarize in general, Khalid, shaqada ka shaqeynaysay oo shaqada kood baseline maxay ahaayeen the main applications or main systems that isticmaalaysay. So to give an idea, dadka waxaan baa shaqada inaan geyno oo aan tusno waxa laga shaqeeyo first and second line. So maxay ahaayeen waxyaalaha ugu badan oo aad ku shaqeyn jirtay.
So obviously it was Microsoft and Mac. So these are the main softwares that operation systems we were using. And obviously you do have your Office 365. So again, it's relation to the Microsoft server and as well. So yeah, these are the main things that we were working with, and then their own shipping tools.
Okay. And when it comes to shaqooyinka qaarkood waxa aad dadku isticmaalaan waxa loo yaqaan ticketing system or knowledge base.
Yeah.
How many ticketing system you've used throughout your career in IT?
For me, the main one that I use was ServiceNow. So this is the most common one in most workplaces. Some people have others.
And how easy to learn?
It's very straightforward. It's very user-friendly. So it's very easy and it's all laid out for you. So I wouldn't say it's very difficult at all. I think you need one look at it. You can play around with it. It's like you're an expert, I think.
It's like using a website, man. Accessing, clicking on a connection, filling the forms.
Absolutely.
It's straightforward.
Straightforward.
Nothing hard, nothing difficult.
Exactly, definitely not.
Okay. So shaqada koowaad heshay waxaa joogta about a year, yeah? Then after that, waxaa bilowday inaad shaqo kala raadisid. Why? Maxaa kala shaqo kala raadinaysa adoo meel jooga?
For me, again, I had motivation, I had goals. So for me, it's now, and I remember the advice you gave us once you got your first IT job, a year and a half, no more, to try and move forward to the next one.
Don't go into comfort zone.
Exactly. And then that's what alhamdulillah, luckily, I was slowly I was feeling comfortable. And then, but again, I still had my motivation. Again, I was starting to look for jobs. And then alhamdulillah, one of my colleagues that was working with me in my first job moved on, and then he called me and he said, there's an opportunity available, why don't you have a look?
Okay. So basically here we see معناها the connection and networking is very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because people you work with tomorrow had the category maybe they are managers, maybe supervisors,
Absolutely.
maybe and CEO or whatever. Tomorrow they can call you. They say, "Oh, we know Mr. Khalid. Mr. Khalid is a good guy.
Absolutely.
Bring him here."
Exactly. So I think it was for me that job. It was through referral, and my current job was again through referral because of networking again.
See, networking is very important.
Absolutely.
That's what معناه يقول in 70% of the job market is hidden. Hidden means they advertise through the word of mouth,
Exactly.
or maybe referral, maybe other means.
Exactly.
So always you must have connections. Absolutely. What's the best way to build that type of connection and networking?
Again, you have LinkedIn. There's a lot of people out there. You might have a friend that knows a friend, so you can get your friend to introduce you to them through that. Or there's events. There's there might be conferences. Let's say for example, you host conferences. You bring experts and people that are very high end. That are very experienced. Again, it's through networking again. So these are the kind of stuff you get to know through people.
And I remember you attended few of GlobalNet conferences.
Yeah.
I remember that was 2018,
Yeah,
2019. Tell us about them.
It was amazing. I liked it. Again, it gave me a lot of motivation, a lot of confidence. If they can do it, I can do it. So alhamdulillah, it was amazing. I learned a lot. I benefited a lot, and some of the stuff that they mentioned, I wrote it down, and I kept it with me.
MashaAllah. So now you got your second job, and the second job was same title or different title?
It was a bit of a progress. So it's like a first line, second line support analyst. Again, it was this time around. It was dealing with the stuff I learned in A plus, Network plus, and CCNA as well, and server. So again, this time I was able to apply the stuff that I learned to the maximum.
Okay, and then after that, we had a pandemic.
Yeah.
So after that, you started doing AWS cloud. So dadka caawa barnaamijka daawanaya waxay aad iyo aad u maqlaan cloud and this and that. So waxaan naga siisaa what is a cloud?
That's a good question. Yeah.
What is a cloud? Cloud ma waxaa inaad tagadooraha miyaa?
Yeah, it could be. But there's ways of answering it. But I'll probably say it's more or less taking the stuff that's on premises, put it in a virtualized way. I would say maybe if I might be wrong, but it's just stuff is it's not physical anymore. It's virtual, so it's stored virtually. So yeah, maybe my definition is not the greatest, but it's just
okay. And during the pandemic, ma waxaa ka shaqeynaysay home mise waxaa tegaysay shaqadaada daas waxaa waa before intaad helin shaqadaada saddexaad Soomaaliya? Yeah. Second jobka. So waxaa dhacay pandemic. So maxaa ka shaqeynaysay guriga mise inta badan waxaa tegaysay xafiiska?
When the pandemic started, I think it was March when the national lockdown happened.
Yeah, 23rd, I think. 23rd,
yeah, something like that. Yeah. So the week before is when we were told everyone has to work from home permanently until otherwise. So I was working from home from that period until July. June. I think it was May. May. Beginning of May, just before Ramadan started, I think. And then we got furloughed. But alhamdulillah, we still got full pay. So we didn't get anything deducted. So just, relaxing at home until that period. I wasn't doing anything.
And get paid.
Alhamdulillah.
And in the meantime, you took advantage to learn new skills.
Definitely.
Okay. So you did AWS.
Yeah.
So then after that, you started looking your third IT job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us and take us through the process.
So when during the pandemic as well, we were learning virtually through Zoom. You were teaching us. I think the course finished around September, I think. So once I finished the course, I started to revise for the exam, for the AWS Solutions Architect Associate exam. So I started the revision about October. So I was revising from October until until December. And then first week of January, I booked my exam. And alhamdulillah, I managed to pass it first time.
And that was Solution Architect?
Yeah, Solutions Architect Associate one.
Did you do the other one, Fundamentals?
Fundamental, the GCP, the Cloud Practitioner. No, I skipped it. I didn't, but I went over it briefly just in case.
Well, there's no need to do it.
It was no need because more or less it covers in the solutions architect anyways and the associate. So I done the exam. I passed in January, and once I passed in January, I was working on a few projects and stuff like that in relation to AWS solutions architect. So just to put on my CV, and then from there I started looking for jobs.
dadka qaarkood waxay aaminsan yihiin waxay maqleen cloud maybe saaxiibkooda wuxuu ku shaqeeya cloud maybe cloud waxay arkeen lacag fiican laga qaataa so waxay ku leeyihiin we need to start on cloud yeah so do you think someone from zero to cloud bilaabi karo?
I think it's possible, but I think it is better if you start from entry-level IT jobs like first line, second line, and then build your way up. Because you have already the exposure to IT world, you know how things operate. You have an understanding of the system, how everything works. Exactly. So I think I would say that. But also at the same time, you shouldn't feel discouraged. Like you shouldn't feel demoralized that you can't go from zero to cloud, because you can. But there are some things you have to do, because once you do the exam, you pass the exam, it shows that you know the knowledge, but at the same time you need to back it up with projects. So you can make a portfolio on GitHub and then upload all your projects there.
For development.
Exactly. So you can show them I've done all of these AWS projects. This is what I know.
Okay. So cloud is too big معناها marka shaqada cloud say what sort of market معناها مشكلته هاي نرى ما solution architect ما DevOps ما SysOps معناها which one هذيك more حوق ساكسي?
For me, it was to get through solutions architect. So that was my end goal. So I wanted to become a solutions architect. But before I get there are a few things I need to do, because solutions architect is a bit experienced role. So in order to get there, I need to do a few things. So alhamdulillah, I managed to get the certificate. I passed the exam. I done a few projects, and I applied for entry-level cloud roles. So there are junior cloud engineer. There are junior cloud. It could be a support roles. It could be there's a lot of junior roles out there ultimately. So you just need to go out there out of your way and try to apply for them. So I went for that route. I went for in order to get solutions architect, I need to start from somewhere, and then I managed to get like a cloud job that specifies and allows me to go to that route.
Okay. And أنا شوفي cloud كذا سوية سوق هذا.
There are so many out there, especially now, September times, they open a lot of junior positions because a lot of people graduate from university. So like September is the time where there's a lot of jobs. So even before that, during the pandemic, when I was applying, like this summer, for example, there were so many jobs that I applied for. I applied anywhere and they would get back to me straight away. So there's a high demand.
Okay. And I believe till now, some of them, they contacting you because they believe.
Exactly. Till now, I get emails. Like they reply to me, they message me, they call me, they say, we have a position available. So there's a high demand.
So the demand is very high. So now is the time to join the tech sector, especially the cloud.
Exactly.
Okay. To summarize, someone had the Rabin Cloud coming up because of the title of the show is how to get your first cloud job.
Okay.
Yeah. So to summarize, محل هي قفك وباهن هذا الشغل كله cloud ABC أسميه.
Okay. The first I would say is try to study for the AWS Solutions Architect Associate. There's many ways of doing it, but for me, I would recommend to go to a teacher that can show you the ropes, to show how it works. So it shows you the ins and outs. There's also courses available online on Udemy. But for me, what benefited me the most was, when I was doing with you, it helped me, the practical side of it as well. With the labs you gave us, for me, that helped me the most. So once you do the exam and you pass and you got, the certificate, you need to now do projects that it would help you, especially if you have no experience at all in IT.
Exactly.
So you need to now do something or that works for you as evidence to say, this person, they got the exam, they passed the exam, but this shows they know how to work, they know the job. So what you can do, like for example, one of the projects I did was with a group of friends. We learned how to host a WordPress site using Elastic Beanstalk. So there was a whole demonstration on YouTube. You can go on YouTube, you can type in AWS projects. There's a whole list.
So you can learn while you're doing the course.
Absolutely. Okay. So that's what me and my friends, that's what we done. We put it on our CVs. And yeah, when there's a lot of other projects as well. So yeah, we've done that. We created our own little GitHub. We put the projects on there, and then from there we just put it in our CV. So when the recruiter, when you apply for a job and they go back and they look at it, then they can come back to you and they might be impressed. So for me, that's what I got sometimes.
Because now you have something tangible, something
Absolutely.
you built, something online, and you can refer to that side.
Absolutely. So that's what I did mainly.
Okay. And market ما interview معناها محي هاي السؤالين هو بدنا نوديني cloud.
They ask me, what's an EC2 instance, what's an S3 bucket, they even ask me sometimes questions that are not just AWS but also to other cloud providers. What's the EC2 equivalence of, in Microsoft Azure? So, at first I didn't know, but my second interview, I managed to answer the question. So I said, it's a virtual machine. So, I managed to, these kind of questions might pop up. So yeah, these are the kind of questions that ask me, kind of basic questions. What's an EC2? What's an S3 bucket? What's a serverless function service? They ask me what's a cloud formation. So these are the kind of things they ask me. What's a VPC? What's the difference between an application load balancer or elastic load balancer? These are the kind of questions they ask me.
But all of that is something you already covered in the courses.
Exactly.
Yeah, you did AWS solution architect. So I hope it's very easy to answer the questions.
Alhamdulillah. So even as well, when I was revising for the interview, I was preparing myself. I went through the content that you gave us, the books, the practicals. I was going over it, just repeating it. So alhamdulillah, it helped me a lot.
So dadka hadda cloudka raba inay macnaha qaataan ama ay sameeyaan ama ay noqdaan professionals in the cloud. So do you think it's a good market macnaha next 5-10 years?
Absolutely, 110%. I would recommend anyone that wants to go into IT, you can do it. And like you said, it's vast, it's very broad, it's very, there's a lot of, it breaks down to a lot of different, areas in cloud. Some people do DevOps, some people do, solutions architects, some people, go to, might become cloud and work with the software engineering, stuff like that. So it's very broad, it comes in different areas.
It's huge.
So, it's used in a lot of areas of, of IT.
So basically it's better to start from one place, and then once you get a job, then you can explore more options and see which one is best for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also lacagta sometimes waxay ku geenayso waxyaalo badan.
Yes.
Because waxaa arkaysa cloudka okay is good lacag uu leeyahay but isaga hataa uu sii kala lacag badan yahay.
Absolutely.
So adiga xagee jeceshana kasii aadid meesha aad taagan tahay?
Inshallah, for me currently I work as a cloud migration consultant. So
the title is in general Khalid is big and huge. So from 2017 to 2020 mashallah 2018 I shaqada Soomaa. Within 3 years I سميسي معناها huge improvement. اللهم بارك وما شاء الله. أنا نحن رجوني أنت إنكسي بدن.
إن شاء الله.
So and ضدك ولا وذاكتي إن بدن أو سهل كايريت ما شاء الله إن هذا شيء واحد بدن قبتي مسوين كفاية ستي. So مشهد أسرته which is cloud
migration consultant.
So give us more معناها details حسب what is your typical day معناها because dadka qaarkood is weydiinayaan what is a cloud migration consultant. So
obviously currently at the minute I'm doing 3 months of training, but ultimately the role is is a balance of consultancy and engineering. So what we get to do ultimately is assist clients and customers to migrate their workload onto cloud. So specifically consultants. So they get to consult and advise the clients on how to migrate their workload. But for me, my role is I got the exposure to be hands-on engineering and also technical consultancy. So I get both consultancy and the technical side of it. So and I was asking them as well, what my role is, and they said that's what they said to me. So ultimately, they said, it opens the door for me to go to 3 different paths. One of them is consultancy, the other one is architecture, and the other one is just engineering. So again, my target is to become solutions architect, so I got a pathway now. So after 1 year, a year and a half, I got the opportunity to progress and maybe get there.
Okay. So what does the solution architect معناها maxay sameeyeen maxay qabtaan?
I think it's a good question, والله. I think it's ultimately within the name. You know,
Okay.
it's, you know, I believe
So the design,
it's
the solution for the customer could we need معناها this and that. So basically you design a solution for them. هذين
exactly.
نقطة compute, هذين نقطة storage, هذين نقطة networking, هذين نقطة databases, all of that.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's my goal at the moment. So hopefully, inshallah, I got the right platform. So we'll see where it goes.
Okay. And ما شاء الله مرنتي waxaana siisay in depth معناها details and I hope you inshallah inaad soon waxaan hadday year meelahaas kadib inaad gudubto معناها stageka oo baahan tahay and I'm sure inaad dadaalaysid oo aad runtii shaqo badan aad qabanaysid behind the scene
Inshallah.
and we wish you all معناها the success inshallah.
Inshallah.
And marka aad hadda shaqada aad heshay aad tagtay big company oo shaqaysaa marka GlobalNet waxaa ka baxay a lot of students. Have you ever met معناها people at your workplaces معناها ka baxay GlobalNet?
Yeah, absolutely. The person that referred me to the role is from GlobalNet. He studied at GlobalNet. My friend Abdel Nasser. So he worked as a network engineer. Alhamdulillah, he got a cloud job now as well as an AWS cloud engineer, and yeah, he's cloud now. So alhamdulillah, he referred me to the role. So alhamdulillah, it helped me get through there. So again, you know, there's a lot of, you'll bump into a lot of people that come from GlobalNet, alhamdulillah. So it's, again, like you said, it's good to network with people and get to know people, and you know, it helps.
Best network in Somalia is GlobalNet, so they're everywhere.
Exactly.
شغال بقى تكتب على جيبنا لكم أنتم maybe 2-3 معناها from GlobalNet.
Exactly.
Yeah. So well done guys, mashallah, and I wish more people to join the tech sector.
Inshallah.
And that's what هدفك أنا كلهم. معناها مستقبلك إن Somali ذينا أن قبسنا. Yeah, the tech sector, and that's the vision I had for 20 years ago. ما كان بلابنا وحلا بها what's IT, what's A plus, and what's Network plus. But now, most of the Somalis معناها they're familiar with A plus and Network plus and technology, and maybe they have people in the community, in the family, maybe cousin, brother, sister, whatever, working in the tech sector. marka insha Allah waxaan rajeynayaa next معناها 10 years inaan soo saarno dad badan oo Soomaali ah oo ku shaqeeya cloud iyo cyber security iyo in high positions. And what about gabdhaha markay timaado dabcan waxaa kasoo shaqaysay ilaa iyo 3 shaqo kala duwan. You met a lot of معناها IT professionals. So markay timaado gabdhaha hadda dhageysanaya oo ku taxan معناها barnaamijkan maxaa dhihi lahayd معناها xagga IT markay timaado inay sameeyaan.
I think absolutely the way society is now, there's a lot of opportunities, and the way IT was predominantly known for men, but now the way things are changing, you know, it's slowly opening up, and you see a lot of women in high positions doing very well for themselves, they're very successful, whether they are Somali or non-Somali, they're still, you know, in very high and good positions. So in my first position, my manager was a woman, and I worked with 2 colleagues that were women. So again, is evidence that there's always a gap there. There's always, you know, roles available, the opportunities there. Same again, my second position. One of the seniors, again, the directors was a woman. One of the colleagues that I was working with was a woman. So again, my current positions, 2 of my seniors, the consultants, they are women again. So there's always opportunity there. So you shouldn't feel afraid whether you wear hijab or ma'bayad or jilbab. You shouldn't feel too shy to not go there. You should do it. You should go there.
MashaAllah. And waxaa xustay runtii point aad u muhiim u ah macnaha haddii gabar aad tahay xijaab wadatid haddaad aad tahay wiil macnaha waxaa leedahay basically IT xaggeeda wax ka hor imaanaya ma lahan ama wax kugu dhibaya shaqadaada ma lahan ama wax caqabad aad la kulmaysid ma lahan adigoo haysta your culture, your value, your religion, haddana waxaa samayn kartaa inaad si u shaqaysid as professional.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for me, like my first job, again, alhamdulillah, like I faced no troubles. Like no one said anything to me, or like forced me or put me in a position where I had to compromise my values. So alhamdulillah, like salah dahit or tukanai, salat al-jum'ah, no problem. My second position, again, I'm not putting myself in a situation where it compromises my deen. Again, salat al-jum'ah, I can go normally, no one says anything. Pray, come back. So it's fine. So same again, I think if you're a woman, if you have the hijab or the jilbab or the abad, it should be still okay, because you know we live in a society where you have the freedom to express your religion. No one's saying anything to you. So as long as you're able to do your job, you're fine.
So there's a diversity معناها in the
Exactly.
IT sector.
Absolutely.
Okay. markii timaado tusaale ahaan maadaama tahay qof muslim ah Soomaali ah xaaladaha qaarkood waxaa la sameeyaa eventiyo macnaha parts wax noocaas oo kale ah. So how do you approach macnaha adigoo aadan tusayn waji xumo ama aadan tusayn no macnaha what is the best way to deal with something like that?
I think again for me, it's the best way I've dealt with it is to be honest. So for example, they might tell you we're gonna go to the pub, and alhamdulillah we're Muslims, we don't drink. I just tell them, I'm sorry guys, I can't go. I am Muslim, I don't drink. You know, and they apologize. They say, you know, sometimes they might get angry, but it's okay. You know, they know, and then you know they respect me eventually. So you know they say we're sorry for asking, sorry, and then they let you be.
So there's no pressure.
There's no pressure. Yeah. So it's best to say, be honest from straight. You know, I'm Muslim, I don't do this. Same if they invite you to Christmas party. Again, I don't celebrate Christmas. You know, it's not my values. I'm sorry, I can't attend. So again, you have to be honest, and you shouldn't feel shy, because they respect you if you're honest and if you're true, if you say the truth. So that's what I did, and it helped me.
And the reason هو دينياتك خاركود حلقية they compromise معناها the religion and values. وحيث لي إنه حباكو هليسان. Maybe you'll get promotion, maybe that's getting جعلانية. لكن بناء كذا حد جدا هنا وحكوني كتجيان وحي راجنيا.
Exactly, and you shouldn't do that as a Muslim. You should stick to your values, and always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you a way out, always. Even حتى هذا دبكو قارتو, there's stick true to your principles, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always give you a way out.
ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's always a way out.
أرزاق ده بالله وحكوسنا يا واحد تهم كإسلام كهذا دين كهذا كل جناته.
Absolutely.
حتى هذا شقة كويسة وحاله سامي كسي وين.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So never ever compromise محي. So أنا بحنا بعنا نصوص صارنا that IT professionals هذانا له محي mindset وإسلامية. Yeah. ودين تبع هيستا، أخن كذا هيستا، حجاب كذا هيستا، سنة كذا هيستا، وهذانا كشقين يا محي أنا أقول في عنا مواوين. أن وين على الحمد لله أنا حاول جدا جدا قليل أرقام رقاتك أو جوجا. So dadka daawanaya barnaamijkan tooska iyo dadka hadhow ka daawan doona media intaba waxaan leenahay hayso dhaqankaada iyo diintaada and also yeelo skills aad kaga dhex muuqan karto mujtamaca aad ku dhex nooshahay. So markuu Khalid uusan mashquul ahayn ama busy uusan ahayn muxuu sameeyaa muxuu qabtaa? What's your hobby?
I play football. So I play 2 times, 1 time a week. Otherwise, what I do is on my own time. I always try to learn few skills as well. So at the moment, I'm trying to learn how to code and stuff like that. So I spend 1 hour Saturday, Sundays. I've just started. I just signed up to some code camp, just trying to learn. So again, I think as an IT professional, I think it's important to continue learn new skills. Don't feel too complacent. Why it's important to continuously try to go forward. And other than that, I do معدة كتير قرآن كده كبرتها هذا I'm just learning at the moment. I'm just learning قراءة كيف حاسس كبراني هذا. I'm just learning. الحمد لله. هذا إجازة هنا هذا كبراني هذا إجازة هنا معلم مصاري أخرى هذا just نقدر
7 قراءات
إن شاء الله.
شاطبي ولا
شاطبي إن شاء الله. هذا
ما شاء الله الله يبارك فيك. هذا لماذا ماشي قدام بيسا dad badan daawanaya barnaamijkan oo ku taxan Soomaali media ka sii daawan doona warbaahinta ka sii daawan doona. What is your macnaha last advice adiga lahayd dadka Europe jooga qurbaha jooga halkan jooga ee fursadda haysta? What's your best advice aad u gudbin lahayd macnaha dadka daawanaya dhammaantood?
Number 1, I would say waqti ka faa'iidayso. Take advantage of your time. I would say especially if you're young, take advantage of your time, because when you get older, you're going to get busy. And when you get busy, you will regret. I would say number 1, take advantage of your time. Have high aspirations. Have big goals. And as a Muslim, it's important to have high aspirations. It's important. And I think also as well, if you have an ambition, set yourself targets. Set yourself targets, because what I did, for me, what helped me was when I started GlobalNet up to now, I had a target. It was 3 months, it was 6 months, it was 1 year, and then 2 years, and then 5 years. So at the minute, I'm on track, but at the same time, I need to make sure I stay on track by making sure I continue and do not fall off. So have set yourself targets. If you're new to GlobalNet and you start from zero, what's your target? You want to finish the course. Hey, what's after the course? You're gonna go to the next course. What's after that? You're gonna try apply for a job. What do I need to do to apply for a job? I need to do my CV. I need to revise so I'm ready for the interview. Stuff like that. So set yourself targets. Set yourself goals. And again, as a Muslim, ilah dua. There's always a way out. There's always a way out. And for me, it helped me. Wallahi, alhamdulillah. Every job I got, wallahi, alhamdulillah, I always made dua, and so ilahi da وقال ربكم ادعوني استجب لكم. So it's like you have to call Allah, make dua, then Allah opens doors for you. So I think that was for me the most important advice I would give. Before the IT and the technical stuff, make dua to Allah. He will open the doors for you. فرج كفر. arrimaha afaraha ku sahlo. There's always a way out. So, and alhamdulillah, every time I got the job, before I got the job, I always made dua, and I got it. So it's like, it shouldn't, it just shows, if you're as Muslim, if you put your mind to it and it will happen. So for example, Rackspace, before I joined 2019, I wanted to join them because, again, my friend Abdel Nasser and another brother, Muhammad Abdullah. So these guys, they worked for them. They always told me good things about it. So I always set my mind to it. I wanted to get there. To work for them. And I'm working for them now. So it just shows that, they opens doors for you. I'd say that's my most important advice.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. runtii waxaad daawateen barnaamij live oo ka baxaya GlobalNet Studios. Caawa runtii Khalid wuxuu bilaabay macnaha meeshuu nooga soo bilaabay meeshuu ka soo bilaabay markuu iskuulka yimid. IT muxuu ku doortay, koorsooyinkuu qaatay, shaqada qaabkuu raadiyey, markuu shaqada helay kadib muxuu sameynayay, muxuu qabanayay, shaqadii labaad uu sii gudbay, tan hadda saddexaad cloud muxuu yahay, iyo macnaha wax laga shaqeynayo, wuxuuna siiyey waa full information. waxaan rajeynayaa a lot of people on this session inay wax badan ka faa'iidaysteen. waa sababta aan u sameyno arrimahan hadda aan ka hadlayna barnaamijyadan iyo showga noocan oo kale si dadka uu ugu noqdo indho waxay ku arkaan. sababtoo haddii aan dadka loo soo bandhigin macnaha dhalinyarteena Soomaaliyeed waxa ay qabteen, waxa ay sameeyeen, qaar badan oo ka faa'iidaysan lahaa kama faa'iidaysanayaan. marka waa midda keenaysa iyadoo shaqadan ay adag tahay, barnaamijkan adag yahay, taan badan uu ku baxayo, in aan qabanno oo aan waqti ku bixinno si aan dadka Soomaaliyeed meel kasta ay joogaan aan u dhahno yes waa samayn kartaan. 20kii sano u dambeysay waxaa ka soo baxay iskuulka GlobalNet xidigo aad iyo aad u waaweyn oo maanta hataa Khalid ka sheekeeyey. shaqo walba aad tagtaan aad ku arki doontaan dad ay ku taal shaabadii iskuulka aan GlobalNet oo ka soo baxay oo wax bartay oo leh xirfad oo leh skills oo macnaha ku shaqaynaya aqoontooda iyo waxqabadkooda. haddii iyaga ay sameeyeen adiga waa samayn kartaa, wax ka hortaagan ma lahan. waagii aan bilaabayay way adkayd in aan dhaho dadka shaqa ku helaysan. qof walba wuxuu leeyahay anoo muslim Soomaali madow ama shaqo ku helay IT oo ka shaqeynaya cityga. laakiin maanta xafiis walba aad garaacdaan macnaha waxaa ku arkaysaan Soomaali oo ka shaqeeya. tusaalayaal fiican ayaad haysataan. so dadka daawanaya barnaamijkan waxaan leeyahay u baahan IT inay bartaan. IT is the mustaqbalka. IT waa meesha adduunka oo dhan u socdo. IT waa meesha loo guuraayo hadduu kow yahay, hadduu cusub yahay. marka iyasoo u baahannahay dhaqaatiir, oo u baahannahay dad dhaqaalayahan oo u baahannahay aqoon kale warun. laakiin inta inka badan waxaan u baahannahay waa IT. sababtoo qofka hadduu IT u barto waddankana dadka ay ku fiican yihiin IT waxaa furmaya albaab aad iyo aad u badan. rug Rwanda hadda aan ka sheekeeyay in badan waxyaalahay macnaha ku gaartay guusha hadda ay haystaan oo ay ku noqdeen number 1 waxaa ka mid maxay in ay samaysteen Vision 2020 oo macnaheedu uu yahay in dadkooda ay ka soo dhisaan xag IT-ga oo ay aqoontooda ay soo dhisaan oo ay soo saaraan dhalinyartooda oo macnaha leh ability, leh xirfad, leh skills, yaqaana IT si ay ula jaan qaadaan dunida maanta aan ku noolnahay. laana waxaan rumaysnahay haddii dadka ama mujtamaca ay ku liitaan IT adduunka wax badan ay ka dambeynayaan. hadday ku fiican yihiinna adduunka wax badan ay la qaybsanayaan. marka waa midda keentay inaan xoogga aan saarno GlobalNet inaan kii u noqono in aan soo saarno Soomaali badan oo fahamsan IT hadday noqoto Europe iyo hadday noqoto adduunka intiisa kale. Dadku way la yaabeen 20 years ago markaan dhahayay macnaha Soomaalida IT way ku fiican tahay, way baran kartaa, meel fiican ay tegi karaan. Laakiin maanta waxaa haysataan waxay dadkii ka soo baxay macnaha bisha isaga ah oo idinla hadlaya oo dhahaya yes I did and you can do it. Yeah. Marka insha Allah aan dadaalno eventyadan oo sii soconayaan wixii abin oo kala qaadan doonaa an engineer Khalid runtii oo barnaamijkan qayb ka ahaa waxaan ku leeyahay aad iyo aad ayaad mahadsan tahay jazakallahu khair insha Allah. Marka another year waxaan rajaynayaa adigoo tagay meel aad iyo aad u sareeyana noo soo noqotid.